Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and typically we shout out a beer of the week. Today is episode 249 as we close out our holiday season this year. And what way to close it out than the beloved cult classic film Silent Night, Deadly Night from the year 1984. We're going to dive into that here as our main discussion point for the show. But if this is your first time hanging out with us, hey, I hope you stay. Thank you so much. We like to talk about what we are reading or watching, give you our comic book recommendations, what we've been watching lately recommendations. We go into some news, and then we go into our main discussion. And of course, we do our beer of the week, which Lauren and I have a really cool beer cooked up for you. But first things first, please go ahead and like, subscribe, share, follow all of that good stuff on Hops Geek News. That's every social media platform and YouTube. You can find us there. Subscribe. We are getting close to 1,000 on YouTube. We've been kind of stuck at 950. So if you can help us get us over there, it'd be just a great Christmas gift as it is Christmas week this week. I hope everybody's safe, whether you're traveling, whether you're putting up with your in-laws and things like that. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Lauren. What is our beer of the week this week?
It's Happy Y'all-a-days, which I love that because as somebody who says y'all, because it's a very inclusive word and it's fun to say, I think that's a fantastic name. And this is from Prairie Artisan Ales. It is a hazy IPA with Chinook, Columbus, and Simcoe hops. And if you were watching on the YouTube, you will see why this beer is also so awesome because it is a shout out to so many Christmas classics. We will definitely be posting a little video on the socials as well. You got It's a Wonderful Life, which I hate that movie.
Never
Gremlins, Elf, good for you. Home Alone, I watched it once, never again. The Leg from Christmas Story, Mean Girls, which is not a Christmas movie, but has a Christmas
Oh,
scene.
they have the whole Christmas, yeah, in my eyes. You know, it is funny because that's literally the only Christmas part of the movie, but yet they like classify it on HBO Max as a Christmas movie. So that's always interesting.
And then we argue about Die Hard, which is also on here. And then you got Grinch, Christmas Vacation, and Charlie Brown's Christmas Tree. And what's that last thing there, Matt?
It's Turbo Time. You got Jingle All the Way, man. The greatest Christmas movie ever made. Batteries not included. Accessories sold separately. Jimmy,
when they
put
are
that cookie down
for a day.
Oh man, I love that movie.
Say that, I just think of Glengarry Glen Ross. Put that coffee down.
I love Jingle All the Way. It's perhaps my favorite Christmas movie, but we are not talking that today. Let's dive into, we messed up something last week, actually. You know, we like to hear from you guys if there's anything that you catch. One of our patrons, Scott, loves, like, hey, he gives us nuggets once in a while. But he does, and he adds a lot of lore. It's awesome. So if you ever hear us mess up something or you want to add something, drop us a line, man. hopsgeeknews@gmail.com. And Lauren, what are we? Christmas TV episodes. What happened?
I can't believe I dropped the ball on this. I'm very ashamed of myself. So we talked TV Christmas specials, and there was a Christmas special that came out this year that I absolutely love. I even dusted off my Supernatural Christmas mug to watch it. It did come out in like June. It was The Boys. They did a fantastic Christmas episode. They had a few leading up to it, and I didn't think about it until after we recorded. And, you know, I put the Put Christ Back in Christmas song on my Christmas soundtrack, and whenever it comes on, I just start giggling. And it came on and I start giggling, and then I'm like, son of a nutcracker, I should have added that. So maybe we'll do one in the future. Maybe we will do, I don't know. We'll do something. We were struggling with ideas this Christmas because we've done so much. So I'm sure we'll figure something out.
I was just thinking of, I was thinking of a movie that we hadn't done yet that would be perfect for next year, and I can't remember it. So it'll come to me again.
Notes now. But I mean, they had the Muppets with all the, you know, doing the Christmas special. Like, they pulled out all the stops, and I absolutely loved it. And just the ice skating show and the song, they went so hard for Christmas, and I absolutely loved it. I dropped the ball there big time.
It's all right. We forgive you. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you've been reading or watching, though?
So Dexter Original Sin came out, and so far I very much still like it. If you follow us on TikTok or Instagram, you saw my thoughts on it. So the intro very much so mirrors the original Dexter intro, but then they incorporate young Harry, which is Christian Slater, and they incorporate young Deb into it. And they did a fantastic job of it. I thought it was great. Even the wink at the end, they did all of that.
Oh, and then this is him.
This is a prequel.
Okay, it's a prequel. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought so. Okay, cool.
Never mind. In this episode, he graduates from University of Miami, which was cool to see. It's all about the U. And so we heard about this story in Dexter. Do you remember when they did flashbacks to when Harry had a heart attack and Dexter did his first
Yeah,
kill?
it was in the hospital and stuff like that, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
And there's even a scene with Deb, like, pushing Harry around in circles in the wheelchair when he's doing better
Yeah.
because Dexter killed the nurse. So this is it. That's what this first episode was. They went into detail about all that, but they added some other cool things. Not cool things, that's a terrible thing to say. There was something else that happened in Harry's past that we've never heard. So
Ooh.
it's very interesting. It's showing more of who Harry is and why he chose to do what he did for Dexter, because he's obviously coaching him along the way, and he taught
Yeah,
him the
he's
code
his
and
dark
whatnot.
passenger, if you will.
Yeah. So, and then we saw young Batista, who it uncannily looks like him. We saw a lot of young versions of people, young Masuka, Sarah Michelle Gellar's in this, Patrick Dempsey's in this. They both work for the Miami PD. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing the next one because they shouldn't have a blueprint for the next one. So, if you're a Dexter fan, I say give it a shot. We got to have at least one Dexter episode that's going to end well, and this has to end well because it's prequel.
You would think, anyways, right? But God, I mean,
Here's
wait.
Brian.
Hopefully, here's hoping. Yeah. Is that all you've kind of watched? You haven't been doing nothing crazy? That's all you've kind of gotten into?
Well, I mean, I watched Dune Prophecy. That was good. That's getting
Still going
interesting.
along? Okay. I haven't
Yeah,
watched
it's still
any of
going
that.
along.
Next week, I'll have Sonic to talk about. Sonic is opening up tonight when we're recording this, so I'll probably go to see Sonic. I can't wait to talk about that. I haven't been in the movies in a hot minute. I really haven't watched. I'm even behind on Creature Commandos, and I'm one
Oh, I'm
episode
behind
behind on
on that.
Skeleton Crew, even
Oh, I am
because
up to date on Skeleton Crew. I watched that this morning.
still going good. You
Yeah.
see Oliver, my 9-year-old. He doesn't like Star Wars. He proclaims, but he's never watched it. And so last night he was, "Hey, can we watch Skeleton Crew?" And so we sat down and watched the first episode. And now he's fully on board. So
I tried to get Logan to watch it. Wouldn't watch it with me.
he's into it, man. I don't know. Like I'm pretty excited that he's into Star Wars now. So it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm gonna have to watch that with him, but I just haven't had time because it's been nothing but Christmas movies. So before
Yeah,
we get
well,
to movies,
did watch
though,
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
we did. Before I'll talk about what I've been watching, I guess before we go into our comic book discussion, I obviously watched Jingle All the Way. Come on, guys. I have watched some Hallmark movies. Honestly, they weren't anything to write home about. The ones I've watched, they weren't anything up to par like I have been talking about.
Oh
But
no.
I did watch the movie Carry On Netflix with Taron
Ooh.
Egerton and Jason Bateman, and I wrote a review for it.
I clicked on your review, started to read it, and then it said spoilers, and I X'd it out
I
because I do want to watch that.
It
I scrolled
was
down and I
good.
saw your rating, and I was like, okay, this is a high enough rating. I'll watch it.
Honestly, like I'm a bit surprised by how good it was. It was a cool like addition. Obviously, Taron Egerton's a TSA worker. His girlfriend is Sophia Carlson, who is Descendants. Anybody who's got kids knows Descendants. And so she's from that. She's pregnant. She's telling him he should go back to the academy to be a cop again. And that's when Jason Bateman tells him, like, basically calls him, blackmails him, like, you need to put this carry-on luggage through. He's a complete psychopath in that.
Carry on, though. I want to say
There's it's a good movie basically. So I highly recommend watching on Netflix if you're into the Die Hard kind of genre. Of course, it doesn't hold a candle to Die Hard, but it pretty solid. I'll give it that. Pretty decent.
we were in
And
South Florida this weekend. That's why I didn't
you
watch
were. I will say
it.
that I watched
What did I do this week? I don't even know.
the Superman trailer 67 times.
I watched it 3 times, but one was watching Megan's
Wow.
reaction.
3 times. That's pretty impressive considering you're not a DC person. So all right, here. What is your initial thoughts on the Superman trailer? What has it got you feeling? Because you're not a DC person typically.
Okay, I still don't like the Underoos. I did hear why they came out, and they were like, they want him to be, for the kids. This isn't Henry Cavill. This is a guy that looks much younger than me, so I'm okay with looking at this like that. But like to me, like Henry Cavill is sexy, and nothing is less sexy than a man in whitey tighties or in Underoos.
They're red, okay?
So, oh, actually, I should splice this. There's a scene in The Wolverine where he walks in on Mariko's like fiance, and he has red underwear, and he made fun of him wearing the red underwear. I should splice that. So, outside of the Underoos, I thought it was fantastic. It got you all in your feels when he protects that little girl. Just seeing him already down
That's
and out,
Superman right
he's going to
there.
have a good struggle. Seeing Crypto, I thought was fantastic.
Yes.
I'm very much so looking forward to. As soon as I heard they cast Marvelous Miss Maisel as Lois,
Yeah,
I know
Rachel
without a doubt she's going
Brosnahan,
to kill
she's
this.
awesome.
She's going to do phenomenal. I don't have a question about that. I really like that they have him as Clark with messy hair because it
Oh yeah, the
really
hair is vastly different. It kind of immerses
yeah.
you a bit more.
Yeah, and it's like he looks aloof and, like, he doesn't have his
Hmm.
stuff together, whereas, Clark Kent is such a, different persona. And there was a scene, I guess he's taller than I thought he was, like, in the crowd, and I almost got, like, a feel of, like, Christopher Reeve, which made me a
Oh
little, like,
wow.
emotional too, just like he
You
did
almost
some sort of
cried at a DC
movement.
trailer? I know I
DC
did.
does stuff for me, it just doesn't do stuff for me in the same way Marvel does, because it's never been one whole universe. Keep in mind too, I was watching Batman before you were born, young man.
Oh, be quiet. That was a different time. The bat is dead. Bury it. No,
Uh
oh my god, it was the Christopher Reeve, like, old school Superman, but with a guitar, so Hans Zimmer was, like, in his
Yeah, that was really
bag.
cool. As it
It was
slowly built up, that was awesome.
And yeah, it starts with like a Superman got his ass whooped. You don't know who the main villain is. You get action sequences of him going against Mr. Terrific, who looks amazing. You get Hawk Girl in action. You get Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion in all of his bowl cut glory. And people were so unfamiliar with the comics.
It
So like,
looked
what is
so
wrong with this guy's
bad.
hair? And I'm like, dude, you just wait. Like, I have a prediction that I think he's going to die and the ring's going to fly off and find Jon Stewart. I think that's what's going to happen. But yeah,
Oh, because
Guy
they
Gardner,
cast Jon Stewart, didn't
they
they?
did. They have Jon Stewart and they have Hal Jordan for the Lanterns TV series. And so that's my prediction,
Mm.
because Guy Gardner, he's like a lantern, but he's just an asshole, dude. I love that people are being introduced and everybody who's like, this isn't comic accuracy. And now we're getting like comic
Comic
accurate bowl
accurate.
cuts.
Don't mess
Oh,
with James Gunn, man. He made Rocket Raccoon a household
I
name.
know. I know. And honestly, like the Superman trailer, it felt like hope. That's like the number one thing everybody has come away
I
from
saw
this
that,
trailer
the hope,
is
yeah.
hope. It felt good. It's like something we needed. And the action sequence of Superman speeding in and saving that little girl, like, dude,
That was a beautiful scene.
like the speed alone, if that's how he's gonna move in the movies, it looked sick.
And then the
And
little kid, like, praying for Superman to come save them.
yeah, and even Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor looked pretty cool, and so I'm really excited to see, like, July 11th, man. We
Do you
got
know
Fantastic Four and
Oh,
Superman
yeah.
back to
I know,
back.
that's gonna be nuts.
Oh,
Do you know who Lex Luthor is in, Superman and Lois?
yeah, it's Michael Cudlitz. Or
Yeah.
yeah. And then in Supergirl, it was John
Oh,
Cryer
yeah, it was the
from.
guy from Two and a
Yep.
Half Men and 16 Candles. Is that
But
what he
yeah,
was
I
in?
never really watched Superman Lois, but yeah, I knew for a fact that he was Lex, and so it's cool seeing all these different personas and things. But I'm really excited for Nicholas Holt. He's a great actor, and
Mhm.
there's a scene that makes him kind of look like a James Bond hitman type character.
I've
So
never seen him as a villain.
I know, like, he's usually not. I mean, he's at Warm Bodies. He was a zombie. It comes back to
Yeah,
life.
but
He
he
was
was a
Beast.
nice zombie. He's like, "Ooh,
Yeah, that's
nice
what I'm saying.
watch."
Like,
Like
he's a good guy and everything. So kind of getting this other. I mean, even in Mad Max, Fury Road, he
Oh, I didn't see
was
that.
like kind of a psychopath bad guy, but he wasn't like evil. He was just dumb. And so getting to see like this smart Lex Luthor type character has me really intrigued, because oh man, the Daily Planet was so Daily Planet. And the people are complaining about the color grading, but it's like, have you ever
What
opened up
was
a
wrong with the
Superman?
color grading?
It's too
They're
bright
bright.
now. It's too bright.
Superman is you put Batman and Superman next
Have
to each
you
other. Metropolis is sunny.
exactly open up a comic book from Superman and you can just see the brightness of colors. Like Metropolis, Superman is brightly colored and drawn. And so like now we're complaining about the color grading being too bright. Like, you nerds are never happy, but I
No, you can't make
digress.
everybody happy with any. Well,
But I
when
digress.
I got that box of comics that Josh got me at a garage sale like a year ago or whatever, there was a ton of Superman comics in there. There was even more than one Death of Superman sealed up. So I feel like I
Oh
should
man, that's
start. I've
such a
never
good.
read a Superman comic. I've read
Death
comics
of
where he like
Superman's great.
appeared. So I
Yeah,
I should dust those off. I got
you
till
should.
till July. And obviously we will do comic origin. We'll be doing so much comic origin this
We've never
next
really
year.
done a Superman either, so I'm excited to do some
We gotta talk
Superman. We
about
done, yeah,
Wonder Man, and we're gonna have
we
so
did.
many
Fantastic
very,
Four,
like, low-key
Superman.
characters becoming big, yeah.
2025 is going to be huge for comic book movies. February 14th is obviously Captain America,
I'm
and
so excited for
Thunderbolts
that.
in May, and then July is action packed, and Daredevil comes out in March, and oh my god, a reason to not kill myself, folks. I guess I got to live through for 2025.
Ironheart. Yep.
Well, they're not these drones. Anyways, let's go into kind of some comic book reviews for Nerd Initiative. We loved giving you comic book recommendations, some of the comic books that we read and reviewed. I will start with one. It was Batman and Robin Year One, issue number 3 from Mark Waid, Chris Samney, Matt Lopez, and Clayton Cowles. This is going through along Batman and Robin's, Bruce Wayne adopted Dick Grayson. He's been treating him as Robin. And so in this issue, Alfred's essentially like, Bruce, dude, get it together. You need to like control this kid because he won't listen to me. And Batman's just like, I'm very invested in the case that's going on. And Alfred's like, no, listen, Bruce, get this kid together. And he was basically not ready to be a dad. And so it ends on a cliffhanger. Robin,
Like Alfred was such a great father figure.
Right.
Oh, your
But
parents are
Alfred,
dead. Let's go beat up bad guys.
but like Alfred kind of knows but doesn't know what to do, and Bruce is out of his element. So it's what's really cool about this comic is that it's exploring the relationship of Bruce and Dick Grayson in a way we haven't really seen. It's their bonding as father and son that I really enjoy it. So that's the one I did. Why don't you go ahead with one of your reviews?
So one of mine that was festive was the Rocketfellers, which is a
I read
Ghost
that
Machine
one.
comic. So good. So this is the second issue. Last issue was Thanksgiving themed, which I thought was fun because this is
Yeah.
a family from the 25th century. They are hiding in time, and they ended up in the year 2024. So they're having to navigate our holidays while still raising their family because it's parents, kids, and even a grandpa. And so what I loved about this comic and just in general is how relatable the family is, yet they're from hundreds of years in the future
Yeah.
and they're hiding from some evil cyborg things. So this was absolutely fantastic. Even like with the kid, the dad's like, how long are we going to keep this, you know what going on? And she's like, we're going to keep the magic as long as possible. It's like, how many moms have said that to how many dads over the
Oh,
course
I
of
mean, even I'm saying it. I'm like, we're
forever?
gonna get this magic going, and I loved how like
Yeah.
the perfect Christmas tree they were trying to find, and there's like
Hmm.
that. It was like the beginning and the end of the comic were setting up the plot, but this was just like, it's Christmas, man. Like, do you think
Yeah.
Grandma and she taught us about the trees and all of that stuff? It was sweet.
And it was gorgeous art as well. The art's absolutely fantastic. And
Hmm.
this was the issue if you're following Ghost Machine at all, or if you listen to the interview Megan and I did with a few of them on Nerd Initiative, they had that 2-panel spread that showed. So these cyborgs are looking for
Oh
them
yeah,
across time. And so they scanned multiple timelines
you
and it showed
see
every
everybody.
story, past, present, and future. Like if you saw First Ghost, which hasn't come out yet, was in there too.
Oh, I didn't
And
even
so
notice that because I was like, what is that one? I guess there's a couple that haven't come out that I was like, well, what is that? Oh,
Yeah,
that
so
gets
they
me
scanned
excited.
everything that's going on, Geiger, Junkyard Joe,
Red Coat,
Rook Exodus,
and
Red Coat,
Hyde
Hyde
Street. Yep,
Street. Yeah, you even
they
had
even
the
did Hyde Street
Devour one.
Devourer. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see all of that, and what's extra cool is all the artists from Ghost Machine all contributed to that two-page spread too. So they all came and they drew their own pieces for it. And when we interviewed the artist Francis Manival, he was like, "Yeah, that was great because I thought I was going to have to draw all this," and they were all like, "Oh no, we'll do it." So it made my job
That's awesome.
easier. But yeah, no, it's absolutely gorgeous, amazing. Can't say enough good things about everything at Ghost Machine, but
Oh, I know.
I think this might be one of my favorites because I can relate to
Oh,
this family so much. It's
well,
just relatable.
it's
It's like
chaos, but they're all
yeah,
loving each other. Yeah,
but like comedians get funnier to me when they have kids because they're more relatable to me now.
they are. Agreed. 1,000. If you're talking about the family struggles of being a parent or anything like that, 100%. Because you always feel crazy as a parent, and then somebody else will say something. You're like, wait, I'm not alone. You
I'm
you did
not a terrible mom.
you
Thank
too,
you.
and you're just like, oh my god, I'm not
Uh,
alone. Thanks. I agree. I Speaking of like a family, dynamic. I did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 5 from Jason Aaron, and this issue was actually done by Derek Robertson, a friend of our shows.
hey,
Yeah,
was
you
it
might
obscene
recognize.
or was
No,
it family
he did the
friendly?
art.
Okay.
No, well, I mean, it's it. This is a more adult themed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run, but obviously it wasn't
Well,
Derek
that's
Robinson
fun.
like the
It wasn't the
boys,
boys.
but you
Well,
basically
that's
it was an
extreme.
epilogue ending the first arc where you get the villain who is a politician, and he basically explains like how he got to where he is and why the Foot Clan is basically the cops of New York City now. And it sets up, and Casey Jones is in it, which is really awesome. And it was really cool getting to see Derek's art again in it. This is
Mhm.
probably my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run that I've ever read. Not that I've read a ton, but I have read some.
Yeah.
And I will say that this one from IDW is definitely my favorite, just seeing this unique take on the turtles. So I recommend people pick that one up.
That's fun. The only one I read is the Stranger Things one, and while it was cute, I felt like it was targeting kids.
Oh yeah, this is
And
opposite end of
yeah,
the spectrum.
as someone who grew up with, Secret of the Ooze and
Yeah,
those movies, maybe I should pick that one. I mean,
you
those were
should.
on regularly in our house. The Casey Jones and
Mhm.
oh my gosh, those movies were on repeat in our house.
Well, didn't we watch it when we went to that one bottle shop place that one night with the couch, the
Oh
VHS?
yeah,
We
I
watched
think
it.
we did
Yeah,
have it on the whole
we
time.
did.
I mean,
We
we were
did.
talking and whatnot too, but
Wow,
yeah,
that was last MegaCon. Wow,
that was.
that's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Commission Beer Chamber, one of
Yes,
the
that was the name.
best
Yes.
bottle shops there is. I always switch them all up, so it might be beer, commission, chamber. I always switch them up, but yeah, fantastic spot. So another one I reviewed was Barfly by Dark Horse, which is part
Ooh.
of the Minor Threats world. This was issue 4 of 4. So I've talked about this a ton. Barfly is my new favorite character in this world. Absolutely can't recommend this enough. He's just a heart of gold. He's half man, half fly. Just so sweet. And how I saw this was going, like his dad is starting a apocalypse. It's a bug apocalypse, but they combine the two words.
Yes,
Bugalypse. I
I
don't
get
know.
what you're saying.
Thank you. You get what I'm putting down. And so he has to like stop his dad with not an infinity gauntlet, but something that looks much like an infinity gauntlet. And it's like it started to go one way and I was like, it can't go this way. That's not who Barfly is. Or his name's Shit Eater. And I
Yes.
really liked where it went. It was great. It really is. You're starting to see this big world get more tie-ins together, and just go read Barfly. It's so cute. And the art's fantastic. And the art's hilarious. One of the bad guys was drinking a Michael's hard lemonade, not a Mike's hard lemonade, a Michael's hard lemonade. And then another bad guy was drinking a White Claw. It's great. Oh, and in Rocketfellers, did you see Comics on Coffee mug made it into
Oh, yeah, yeah, I remember
one
you
of the
sent me
scenes?
that. That's right. Yes, you were like you pointed out before I had read it. Yes, that's really cool. I love their coffee bags, and we had bought their coffee, and their coffee is pretty good too.
And they have a Ghost Machine coffee, which I thought was fantastic. I was drinking their coffee at New York Comic Con because the line for them was non-existent, and Starbucks was out the door, and their coffee was
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
And they did like some latte there. It wasn't just black. Like I got black
Ooh,
coffee one day, and another day they made something fancy.
all
It
right.
was very
Okay.
delicioso. So the only other thing, comic I read, I've been slacking on the reading, man. My Krampus book is building dust. I haven't had any fucking time.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
is the book we both read and reviewed.
Armored. Yeah, Michael Schwartz, our
Yay!
friend Michael. Ah, this was the end of arc 1, and honestly, like, this was a really good first arc, and the way he closed it out, but also set up future things, I'm really
Mhm.
excited. It was a really cool, like, dynamic, and it wasn't like a big giant, battle to the it was more about love and family and things like that. So,
Which
what
is
did
what
you
the
think?
whole thing was in the beginning, was the
Mhm.
sorrow of losing family and the parents who lost their son and a son who lost his parents coming together, even though neither one of them will ever be fully healed, but it was about
Right.
moving on. And what better way to move on than with a zombie brother and a ghostly
You
night and
banish your
a
zombie brother and
town
you've
of
got your
possessed people.
the dad of your
Gotta heal
friend
some way,
who
man.
tried to bring back his dead wife, and
We
man, that
all
town's going
heal
through
in
it.
different ways.
You're right. It was good. I
Yeah, that's
liked
a
it. I can't wait
fantastic
for
one.
more.
From
I
Clover Press,
do.
and you can find it on Kickstarter too.
Yes, final hours. So, but you can also, I think you get in stores. Maybe I could be mistaken. But
I
if
think
you
some stores
reach
do
out to
have it, yeah.
Michael, you should be able to buy it, or Clover Press. But highly recommend that. It's also like kid friendly. So if you're
Yeah,
getting your kids into comics, good idea to do that. I
and
have a
the
couple
art's
more,
beautiful.
however.
It's like watercolor art.
It is. I've read 3 more things. I got big into the reading last week. So we
La-di-da
have The
for you.
Moon is Following Us, issue number 4 from Image Comics. Daniel Warren Johnson, Rodley Rossmo, Mike Spicer, and Sean Lee. Now, this obviously I've been singing its praises, but this is like the penultimate episode of right before we enter like a season finale, if you will. And it's so good. Their daughter, Duncan, and Sam's daughter, Penny, was taken. I don't want to spoil the reveal because there's more going on too. And so like they are now setting up, they're about to be surrounded, the battle's coming to them, they're going to be on their last stand. Please go pick this up. It is such a good, crazy comic. You have a teddy bear that gets beheaded. It's not very kid friendly, just a heads up, but a teddy
Like
bear gets
Supernatural
beheaded.
where they shoot the
Oh my
teddy bear
God.
in the
Still like
head.
the best episode ever. So that I did read New Gods issue number 1 from Ram V, Evan Kagel, Jorge Forns, Tom Napolitano, Nimit Malavia. Now, this was cool because Darkseid's dead. The old gods are dead. Now, the new gods are coming. Darkseid's son Orion was tasked with basically killing this child. And so he comes to Earth and talks to somebody and is like, you're the only one I can trust. Don't let me kill this child. Find the kid before I do and stop me. So, really good premise starting there. And then the last
Jeez.
issue I read was
I love
Absolute Batman
supernatural
number
vibes.
3 from
I
Nick
didn't get
Dragotta
that.
and Scott Snyder. You didn't get it?
I didn't realize it came out. I asked my shop to put it in my box, and
Come on,
I think they
girl.
forgot.
Dang. It's so good. Oh my God.
I haven't read 2
It's,
yet, though.
oh man.
I have it.
It's basically like you get this one line where Alfred's like, I think I hate the Batman. And then 10 seconds later, Batman does something. He's like, I think I love the Batman. And so it's just that dynamic. The Black Mask is an absolute beast. There's like some really fine sequences where they're really diving into Black Mask, setting him up to be like a really menace character that's going to fight. And we get like a lot of cool, you know, Two-Face, Harvey Dent's helping Bruce, you know, because he came up and you get these flashback sequences with Bruce and Selina. So it's really cool, really good story. Absolute Batman is kind of redoing Batman's origin in a really unique and really fun way. I can't talk enough about that. However,
I did read the first one. It was a lot of fun.
was
I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
I don't either, man. What are you doing over there? It's like it's Christmas and you have kids and you spend your time at Epcot rather than reading comic books. Ugh, banished. Let's go into some news. Anyways, speaking of, guys, something I'm really excited for, something I'm very excited for. Bluey
Oh,
has a movie coming out in
I did watch
2027.
Bluey this week. I was on the treadmill, and Logan wanted
Is
to
this your
watch
first time?
Bluey. So, neither of my kids ever really got into it. Brielle and I watched the one where they moved together. Brielle and I did, who's 12.
She
But,
was
like, I've
watching it at my
tried to
house.
put it
Yeah.
on yeah, I've tried to put it on for Logan before, and he never really showed interest, and all of a sudden, he was like, "I wanna watch Bluey," and I'm like, "That's fine. You can put that on when I'm on the treadmill. I don't really care. Whatever."
Yeah.
And, so he watched a few episodes, and it's a fun show. And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, this is the keep you uppy one." And I'm like, "Wait, have you been watching this?" Because when I try to get my kids to watch anything other than the older one, they don't wanna watch it. But when I say you can't
Yeah.
watch it or whatever, I ignore it, then they wanna watch it. I'm like, "What the fuck, guys?"
That's how it
Braille's
goes.
coming
That's
around,
how
though.
it goes,
Braille's watching more stuff.
obviously.
Oh, and then Logan asked me to put on Elf. I'm like, "Wait, you like Elf now? What's happening?"
Yeah. Harper's like, you can watch The Grinch. It's okay. You can watch it around me. I was like, huh? You've been talking about how terrified you are of The Grinch, and all of a sudden you're like, okay with it. I'm confused. And then, yeah, same with Elf. She's like, I love Elf. So we'll have to watch that together because we haven't watched that yet this Christmas season. But yeah, Bluey's coming. And then on to mention, Bluey also is now starting in January going to be on the Disney line cruises that sail out of Australia. And now later next year,
Oh, how cute.
Bluey is going to be coming to Disneyland and Disney World. So I cannot wait for that to happen. I know this next piece of news you're pretty excited for. So what is happening in the world of Robert Kirkman?
So Robert Kirkman has said that they have roughly 8 seasons mapped out for Invincible, and it could go to 10. Now there's 144 issues in the comics, and there's a ton of stuff they can pull from the comics and everything. This is one of my favorite comics, so I think it's looking good. You have to come around to this show, I feel like. It's like, how
We
can you
will
not like this show?
try again, but I just could not get into the show or the comic. I've tried. I don't know, man. It's just I don't
But
know.
yeah,
I
just
don't I don't
know
really
a
have an
lot of
explanation.
Invincible in the
I don't
future.
know. Just
I mean,
know
it's
I
great,
couldn't.
like, even if you look at, like, the cast is, like, phenomenal. I mean, it's basically
Yeah.
The Walking Dead, but no, well, they killed, like, the whole cast of The Walking Dead, like, the first 5 seconds. It was
They
like,
did.
their version of the Avengers or the Seven or something, and it was like
They killed everybody.
it was Ezekiel and Maggie, and yeah, it was everybody, which is hilarious.
Well, there are more speaking of comic books, there's more Marvel Disney crossover comics coming in March. What if Mickey and Friends became the Avengers? I'm a big fan of these comics. I like to have them for our comic book room because they're both Disney and comics. And I bought a ton of them at Jetpack Comics when I went to visit them. And so I have a ton for my comic book room. I picked up
Yeah, I
some
really need to
for the
frame some of
comic
them.
book
I keep saying that.
thing. Yeah, that's what we're
Oh,
doing.
good.
So I bought some to give away at the event that I'm doing on Saturday as well. So I
Oh, I
don't really
also
care about this
bought
next piece of
You don't care
what'd you
about
buy?
Stitch? I bought the
I
Mickey
need to
Miss
rewatch
Marvel
Stitch.
one or Minnie Miss Marvel one, and I haven't
Oh,
read
I
that
have that one
either.
too. Yeah.
Ugh,
I picked up
okay.
a couple copies to give away. But yeah, I'm not. Lilo and Stitch, man, I was 13 years old. We've talked about it. I think I just need to go back and rewatch it because I was 13. So like what 13-year-old I was, oh, I'm too cool for this. So I think I missed the boat originally. And so I need to go back. I need to rewatch it. I'll
Never
watch it with
too
the
cool for
kids.
Disney movies.
I'll come back around it, but it is coming out May 23rd. They released a poster. Stitch looks good being animated and stuff. I
Yeah.
thought it actually looked pretty good.
Do you remember the commercials for Stitch before it came out? Like, he was
No.
like, was it I think it was it was either Belle or Ariel, like, he was crashing other Disney movies, and so, like, he shows
Oh,
up and, like, gets Ariel all wet before she sings part of her world, or, like, he crashes I think it was Belle doesn't like him. He crashes, like, the lantern or the chandelier when Belle and Beast are dancing, and he's going through Disney movies wreaking havoc. They're doing that again, so they just released one
oh,
where he's pretending like he's baby Simba, and so they're mocking that, and then there's another one where he's eating one of the coconut dudes from Moana.
oh, yeah. I
So
know
I
what you're talking
love
about. Yep, yep.
yeah, so, like, wow, 22 years later, they're doing the same marketing, and I think that's so fun. Because like, I remember being in the theater and watching this preview and be like, "What like, why are we watching a scene from The Little Mermaid? What's happening?" And then Stitch shows up.
And you're
So
like,
those are a lot of
oh,
fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're worth a YouTube, but, yeah, Stitch came out, I think, my freshman year of high school, and I 100% saw this in
no,
theaters.
it came out. Oh, yeah, maybe it did come out sooner,
2002,
but
I graduated in '01.
yeah, I was, yeah, see, I wasn't there yet. I don't know.
Different times. I mean, I even
Anyways.
saw Finding Nemo in theaters when I was pregnant with Kaylee, so,
Oh,
like, I went to these movies.
dude,
Saw
it'd
Tarzan
probably
in
be
theaters with 2 different
childless.
boyfriends.
Oof. I don't know why that's hilarious to me. Like, wait a second, two different boyfriend, girl.
It was
What
really
is
good, I wanted to
happening?
see it again, and I didn't have the same boyfriend, so we saw it again. Or I saw it
That's
again,
fair.
then saw it for the first time.
Well, these last two bits of news I'm going to defer to you on because these are your, well, I mean, actually, because I'm going to MegaCon officially. We're going to be at the
Yeah,
Universal after
you take
party,
that.
but yeah,
So
MegaCon, some updates. We're going to be there. I'm going taking this first because I'm excited. Yes, plane tickets
okay
bought,
then. You do
press
that.
passes not acquired, but we're good. Panels acquired. Yeah,
Approved.
there's more Doctor Who. They're bringing Clara, Rory, Rose, Martha, Matt Smith, Donna, Riversong, 13th Doctor, and yes, they're all going to be there at MegaCon. Like,
And you
what?
know who else is gonna be there?
Who?
Crowley, which Crowley was in Doctor Who. They should
He
add him to this
was Mark
picture.
Shepard. Oh, they should
Yeah.
have.
I know,
Oh my
those
God.
sons of bitches. I'm
I
gonna
hope we
write a
get to interview them.
strongly worded letter.
You should. You know what? You should write your congressman while you're at it, even though he'll throw it away. But put in, title it
What
Gay
the fuck were you
Pride, and I
thinking?
guarantee you in Florida they'll
Oh,
open
because 'cause
it.
you're talking about some
You're
governor,
in
gotcha.
Florida. Write your congressman in Florida.
Right.
Write Ron DeSantis and label it Gay Pride. And I guarantee you'll open it. But really, it's just us. Hey, there should be including Mark Shepard into the
Mark
Doctor Who
Shepherd would
panel.
love that if I did that. I know he would love
I
that.
would love it.
So, oh shit. My iPad just slammed down. So our last piece of news though is Dexter's not dead, guys.
He's
Spoilers.
not.
Apparently
I
not.
never
So
thought he was dead. So I guess I'm just confused. Is
in
Dexter like
Dexter
never
New
going to
Blood,
end?
in Dexter New Blood. Okay, I don't know how to make this new iPad case stand. I'm gonna have to have Braille come in here and show me. So in Dexter New Blood, it looked like it ended with him finally dying for real. Because he did not die in the original.
Oh,
Well, I assumed he had
he's
died
in
for real.
jail.
So at the beginning of Dexter Original Sin, they show a quick trailer, not even a trailer, a quick minor scene of Dexter on the table at a hospital, and they get his heart pumping, and then you hear that Michael C. Hall voiceover, oh, good, a heartbeat. And then it's like Dexter Resurrection. So apparently that is another
Oh,
show coming next year because Showtime ain't gonna let Dexter die. All they have is Showtime right now, and then they have Yellow Jackets, which Yellow
why are
Jackets,
we still putting things on
well,
Showtime and Stars? Can we talk about that? Like nobody subscribes to Showtime or Stars. Okay,
I've never subscribed to Stars. Wasn't the Alfred show on Stars? And there
man,
was a
I don't
Krypton
know.
show too. I remember saying like,
Yeah,
I don't know why they've
that
never
was
done like a
sci-fi. I thought
Krypton origin. Oh, okay. But I was saying to somebody one day, I'm like, I don't know why they've never done a Krypton origin story. I would love to hear the drama that
they
happened
did.
there and what led. And then somebody's like,
Nobody
yeah, they
watched
did.
it. Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, speaking of trauma, let's go into our
Whoa.
main discussion point where we talk about the 1984 film Silent Night, Deadly Night. We'll be back after a message from our unofficial sponsors. Again, guys, sorry.
I hope it's highlight.
We're back. Let's dive into it, man. Let's give you the plot. A young boy with his parents and baby brother go to visit this crazy ass grandpa who pretends he can't hear or see anything on Christmas Eve. After his parents go upstairs and do whatever it is they're doing, he tells
I
them,
know. They just leave the
hey,
child with this freaking comatose dude.
yeah, the comatose grandpa sits there. And when he got
Fucking 80s,
Bill,
man. They were
poor
crazy.
Billy is all alone. He says, Santa's evil. He's going to come and kill your whole family. And
No.
then he goes back into his catatonic state, weirdly enough.
Like, who
So
wants
after
to
they leave,
pretend they're catatonic? That's
I
weird.
don't know. They never really explained what was going on with Grandpa. They just kind of,
We need a grandpa
Santa's
origin
evil.
story. There probably is one.
And so after they leave, a poor Santa is broken down the side of the road after he robbed a clerk for $31 and shot him up. And he wants a
It wasn't
ride. Turns out,
37.
oh my gosh. Despite the boys' pleas for them to not stop, they do so. Santa murders the dad, rips his mom's shirt off so he can slice her throat.
Yes. He didn't do anything
This
else. I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to do this to her?
very
No.
unnecessarily took her
No.
shirt off. And I was like, there for what? All right. Anyways.
I'm
And then he tries to find Billy, who's hiding in the brush. However, he ignores the
Where are you,
baby.
you bastard?
The
Yeah, the
boys are
baby's
sent
just in
to
the
an
car
orphan.
crying, but he never goes after the baby.
And then the baby stops crying. I don't know, man. Okay. The boys are sent to an orphanage with an evil, punish loving nun. Santa shows up. The kid punches him and runs away. And after the nun makes fun of him, made him sit
After
on
the
Santa's lap by
nun made him
force.
sit on
Sorry.
his She forces the kid to sit
Yes.
on Santa's lap by force, so this kid punches Santa in the face, rightfully so.
Yeah, the nun was also very rude. There's a lot to unpack, and we're
Wanted
going to
her to
unpack it.
die.
Don't worry. Fast forward, he's 18. He gets a job at a toy shop. It's Christmas, and they make him play Santa. He puts the suit on, and with the suit comes great responsibility to go on a murdering spree. So one night after they all decide to close down on Christmas Eve, they decide to get drunk.
And the boss goes, let's get fucking shit-faced.
Let's get shit-faced.
Yes.
His coworker that clearly is not a good dude starts to rape the girl he likes. So he murders him with Christmas lights. He then kills her because she's like, you creep, you psychopath. And so he kills her, again, boobs just flapping in the wind. And then he just keeps murdering everybody for some reason. He just mentally broke and starts killing everybody. After the local cops kill a deaf priest dressed as Santa. Yes, they shot up a deaf priest in front of the kids. In the back, in front of kids.
This movie is completely unhinged. Oh my god!
They hired a deaf Santa. They then actually get the real murdering Santa as he goes to attack the evil nun, saying "naughty." As he dies, the little brother looks up and says "naughty." First of all, they should let him kill, Mother Superior, like
I know,
stab right in the head.
Nice.
Okay,
I agree. And that one poor nun was trying the whole time.
She really was. Man, there's a lot to unpack.
Do you want to unpack before we do fun facts?
All right, let's go initial thoughts first. Lauren, initial thoughts. What were you initially thinking as you were watching whatever this film is? Like 4 out of 5 stars in IMDb. People rave about this film. I don't see it.
Well, it didn't. When we get into the fun facts, like there was, I think because it got a cult following because it was protested against at first. So, I mean, Dogma, it's like for one, this movie was such low quality, and like I get it, this movie's 40 years old, but like when we put it on the TV, the font was blurry because it's just
it's so old,
pixelated, yeah. And then what's funny is we both have in our notes "baby on the front seat on the lap." That gets me in every movie. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine how easier trips would have been if you could do that? If you could just be holding your baby, the babies would be so much happier than walking car seat.
Parents wouldn't be so stressed out smoking cigarettes, hanging out the window because their baby's crying. No, instead, this mom has the baby on her lap with no seatbelt on as we're driving down a dark road Christmas Eve night.
She's barely even holding the baby. She's like just like casually, it's just like laying on her. She's like, "Oh, precious little baby." Oh,
like. What? God forbid a deer jump out and you got to slam the brakes. That baby's going face first into the glove box because
and you know back then in the 70s.
Yeah. This is supposed to be like what, 1971 or something. Yeah, there's no safety features on that car at all.
Right. The movie came out in 84, but this is a flashback to that, so it's even before that,
Right.
yeah.
It came out in the 70s. There was no safety features, none at all. And so this baby's just chilling on the lap, like, huh? Oh boy. Did you? Okay, so this movie was meant just
And
off the
this
one
movie
of the,
came out before bras were invented. Did you know that?
is that why like the second the shirt unbuttons, there's just boobs like
No, bras had been invented.
oh,
You know?
oh no.
But yes, there was like 3 different women, I believe, that they showed.
Every
Yeah, there were 3
women
different,
minus
and
the
none of them
no,
had bras on. They just had shirts,
none.
and then they ripped them off, and there's these gloriously tanned, perky boobies.
They were just out, and you're just like, what does this serve to the plot? Nothing. This guy just wanted to see boobs. You know, I feel like
Well,
you.
yeah, and then Brielle's like, "What?" Because I'm watching it with Brielle, and of course I have to keep telling her to shut her eyes. And then she's like, "Why did he rip her shirt off?" I'm like, "Well, kiddo, I think
Well,
back
if you could find
in the
out,
'80s." Well, I explained to her, I go, "I think back in the '80s, they didn't realize that girls liked horror too, and they felt like they were just catering to like a gross male demographic, not realizing that everybody can enjoy horror. So they throw tits in
and
there thinking
boobs.
that, oh, absolutely, everybody loves boobies. But that's not the point. It just
I don't
he
know.
didn't even like he rips her shirt open to slit her throat. It made 0 sense.
None. It didn't make any sense at all. Well, even when he killed girl, he ripped her shirt open to stab her in the stomach.
Right. Now the
What?
middle
Like,
one where, like, the girl was about to be, assaulted by the dude, that one made
right.
more sense that she didn't, but again, she didn't have a bra on. What are all these girls walking around unsupported in the
That's
cold?
why we went to a Catholic church, you slut. Oh my
Ugh, they
God.
must have burned their bras.
Anyways,
Those damn
the
hippies.
the actual tagline for this film was "You've made it through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas." Along with "He knows when you've been naughty." Yeah, those were actual taglines
Naughty.
because this film was released by TriStar Pictures on November 9th, 1984. It received a substantial controversy over its promotional material and content, which featured a killer Santa Claus. The concept of the film was actually pitched by an executive producer named Scott J. Shind, who at the time accepted screenplay ideas and submissions from the public. I bet you they stopped doing that. One of these was a short story entitled "He Sees You When You're Sleeping," which was written by a Harvard
That's a
University
great
student.
title for a
It,
creepy horror Christmas movie.
Thank you. Way better. Way better. Paul Kaimi, the story was about a killer Santa Claus, and Shind was impressed with the concept, even though he disliked slasher films. He then contacted writer Michael Hickey and requested him to write a screenplay based on the short story, in which he agreed. Afterwards, Hickey sent the screenplay to TriStar Pictures, who were pleased with it and agreed to finance and distribute the film. Interesting. Yeah.
So, because of the film's concept had been done before in the 1980 horror film Christmas Evil, I haven't even heard that, as well as the first segment of the 1972 horror anthology Tales of the Crypt, the producers in TriStar were not concerned about the killer Santa. They didn't think it would be controversial. However, they were apparently wrong because the Catholic Church was angry.
Of
Because
course
of
they
this,
were.
TriStar. Oh, is this the part you just read, or did we just double up? We just doubled up.
Oh, we must have doubled up. My bad.
Um,
No, you
so
no this no you didn't because TriStar agreed to distribute the film.
in a
No.
limited release. Okay.
Yeah.
In mostly Protestant Midwestern United States before moving forward with releasing it in the dominantly Catholic Northeastern United States, which is funny. They're like, oh, they're going to be upset. So we're going to release it here to make it more controversial, it seemed like. So, yeah, you mentioned the release date, which is around Christmas season. And Robert Brian Wilson was not happy with this decision because he believed the film should have been released around Halloween to cause less controversy. That's
Would have
interesting,
made
though.
sense. Or no, would have made sense. It wouldn't have made sense. A killer Santa Claus at Halloween? Come on, man.
I mean, I guess if back then horror was only okay at Halloween and like because Christmas horror was kind of a new concept. But I mean,
Yeah.
to me, yeah, I'd rather watch anything Christmas at like I wouldn't consider Krampus a Halloween movie in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all. I don't think so any at all. And so going along with the controversy, the release of this film was actually picketed by angry parents who were not happy to see Santa Claus depicted as an axe murderer, despite the fact that Tales from the
Right.
Crypt
The two
in
things we had just
1972,
mentioned, right.
yeah, had done the exact same thing, and Christmas Evil had done the same thing. As a result, box office receipts plummeted once the film was pulled from theaters after barely 2 weeks. The film was then shelved for another year before it was released on VHS. However, it did
That's a
initially
tape, kids,
Yeah, you used to have
that
to.
you
It
put
was
in a
crazy.
VCR.
Whole new world. You used to have to, this film opened up the same weekend as A Nightmare on Elm Street, which also came out in 1984. Obviously, it actually briefly outgrossed it by around $161,000, as the film was playing in more than twice as many theaters as Nightmare. This dropped the following week, and on its opening weekend, the film finished eighth, grossing $1,432,800. $432,800. Sorry, I'm illiterate sometimes. Yeah, and subsequently, all of the film's TV ads were pulled off of the networks because of the trailer showing Santa carrying an axe, which practically depicted him as a mass murderer.
Dun dun
Not my
dun.
Santa.
Ruining the magic for everybody.
Oh
So
my
there was
God.
actually a documentary in 2006 called Going to Pieces: The Rise and Fall of the Slasher Film. So the person who plays
Ooh.
Mother Superior, who is very evil, blamed the controversy on the film's marketing. She
She
said that the
sucks so
marketing
hard, dude. Like, she's the worst.
she is the worst.
Absolute worst, man.
She's the real reason this kid turned into a serial killer. So she
I
said the marketing should have focused more on Billy's trauma than on the killer Santa aspect. I mean, maybe, but
clearly,
like,
okay.
why were people picketing? And just don't let your fucking kid see it. Like,
First of all,
the
who has the
end.
time to picket movies? I don't know. But
That's a
also, like,
good question.
not to mention, this movie is what
Kevin
happens if
Smith does
Bruce.
because he
Yeah.
picketed Dogma.
Yeah. This film is 1000% what if Bruce Wayne wasn't rich, because his
Ah.
parents were killed. He goes to an orphanage and he doesn't have a fancy butler or anything. And these nuns are mean, mean.
Mhm.
Like, the opening sequence, they're beating this poor child for no reason. And all of a sudden, this poor child's just like, first of all, he's an
Oh
awful
my gosh, and
haircut.
this spanking scene. Oh, he's got a
Yeah.
mullet.
Yeah. And then, like, he just happens to look through the keyhole and sees two
Yeah.
people getting freaky, and which apparently
Dude,
traumatizes him even more.
that was straight up porn. That was
It
not even
was
like that was in like I was like, "Hold," and
70s,
Braille's like, "Can I look
80s.
yet?" I'm like, "No, you can't look yet."
It was like slow motion. Ooh, yeah. And then she finds him and beats him, and then she beats the people. And like, this
Like,
lady's
what did he
awful.
do wrong?
He did
Yeah, and
nothing.
when
He's
the
a
spanking
young
scene
boy.
came, I'm like, I look at Braille, I'm like, "People used to think this was an acceptable form of punishment," and she's like,
Get this
"Really?"
kid therapy, okay? Like, oh my God, this
He
poor
doesn't
kid.
need therapy. He's a boy. He'll be fine.
You're right. You're
Just
right.
grow
Now,
up into a man.
the original title of the film was actually Sleigh Ride, and the title Sleigh Ride ended up as a subplot in another film. Lauren, what film was that?
It was Ernest Saves Christmas from 1988, which takes place right here in Orlando, Florida.
God, I love the Ernest film so much. God, amazing. Now, when they
There's
first
another
started,
option for next year for a Christmas
oh,
episode.
good. There you
Need to
go.
write these down. I don't know why
Write it
I'm
down.
writing
Write
this
that
for
down.
myself.
Now,
Maybe to write
the
these down.
main cast of this film consisted of local actors across the state of Utah. The lead star, Robert Brian Wilson,
Oh,
was
that's why they were so
18
bad.
and at the time living in Salt Lake City. He had no acting experience and he only
Shocking.
auditioned. You can clearly tell. Imagine what a time. You can just go off the street and audition, and then next thing you know, you're in like this cult classic film.
It was
Crazy.
Will Smith. He had never
That's
acted
true.
before.
That is
Although
true.
he can actually act. There's the difference, though.
Depends on the movie. And anyways,
That's fair, but he
so
can still act.
his girlfriend actually told him that he should go ahead and audition for this film. So no major and well-known actors were featured in the film, and many mostly had experience in only television acting roles. Now, he felt that he was so ashamed by the controversy of this film that he told his friends and family to avoid seeing the film. Years later, after attending a 30th anniversary screening and meeting with fans, he reversed his stance. Wilson has since made appearances at horror conventions and given interviews about his work on the film.
I think that's awesome. I wish we could see that for the little kid who played Anakin Skywalker in
I
episode
do too.
1.
I so badly wish. I know he has like schizophrenia and other stuff, but like,
Oh, poor
I
kid. Well, he's also in
so
Turbo Man.
yeah, exactly. God, my favorite. I wish so badly that we could, like, Jar Jar Binks, Ahmed Best.
Well, he's
He
getting
came
his
back.
redemption. Yeah,
I
he
know
came
he
back. He
is
got
like
his
Anakin
moment.
Skywalker got his moment.
Hayden
Hayden Christensen is
Christensen. We
back.
always do that.
Everybody from the prequels, and so like I so badly wish that we would get that moment for him, because
Mhm.
you bullied a 7-year-old kid or
And he did
9-year-old kid, whatever.
fantastic
And
for
he
a
did the best
little
he could
kid.
for
Yeah.
1999. He
Yeah, he could
did
have
what
done
George
without the
Lucas,
woohoo, but I'm sure, or yippee, but I'm sure it was
but
scripted.
George Lucas didn't let people go off script. You had Natalie Portman and you had Ewan McGregor, and he wouldn't let anybody go off script. And so that's neither here. I just so badly wish Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I just
love
do
to hear
straight
stories like
payday things,
this.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Anyways,
Um,
I digress.
so there were 6 minutes that were cut to avoid an X rating, so when they were making the
Oh.
uncut version, they actually found it and were like, "Hey, let's put it back in."
The
It meant
nun
the
walked in instead of
quality.
punishing them, she
I
punished them.
know,
She
who
joined the
knows?
fray.
You know what, that's the best thing she needs.
Mother Superior, what are you doing?
That's like in The Ref when she's like, "I think your mother getting laid by an 18-year-old quarterback or whatever
I'm
is
just
just
saying, like,
what
if
she
she had
needs."
if, she got Indeed down once in her life, maybe she wouldn't be just hating
Why do
everybody
you
and
think
everything.
nuns are so angry? That has to be it.
No, those some of those nuns are getting some of those cardinal, come on.
Every time they said naughty, though, it made me think of that episode from
Oh my god, it was
Supernatural,
so
the
uncomfortable the
convention,
way they
that
said
naughty,
naughty.
naughty. Yeah, yeah. They
Naughty.
said it like the ghost in Supernatural.
Yeah.
Alright, so when the remake, which was titled Silent Night 2012, was released in the year of 2012,
I
the
don't
reaction
remember
was
that one.
the polar opposite of what it was in 1984, with people accepting the concept of a killer wearing a Santa Claus suit because we don't care.
We
This
don't.
may have also been the reason why Fangoria Films decided to re-release the original film in 2013, which led to the film finally appearing on pay
Fair.
cable channels in 2014, although we had to pay for it on Prime. So I did look up Silent
$4.
Night.
I'm it back.
Malcolm McDowell, I think, was the only name I recognized. He plays the cop in the movie.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize anybody, so I'm glad you did. Now, even though the executives at the studio stayed away from the media when the controversy erupted, writer Michael Hickey said he accepted any request for an interview he got, including Entertainment Tonight. He thought the controversy was absolutely hilarious and a lot of fun. It was, to
It
be
is
fair.
hilarious.
He said, I was in no way chagrined by the controversy. I thought it was great. This is a film that could have sunk like a stone and never been heard from again. And suddenly it was leading the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. I didn't know how to take that. Dude, take it. That 100%. Like, there is no reason this movie.
I mean, they made $8 off us this week.
They really did. We got somebody royalty checks coming in, man. And it's just ridiculous. Like, okay. I just love sometimes I love the things that we are so pressed about in society. And this is one of those. It's just
Well, and
absolutely
also
asinine.
the progression of things too, to think like, what was this an issue? Like, who cares? This isn't a child's movie. It was
What the
rated
Santa
R.
Claus? Yeah, you're taking your 6-year-old child to go watch this movie. Actually, I don't know. There was kids on
No, it was
laps.
rated R.
It was. Yeah. I wasn't taking. I don't know, man.
I mean,
I
you're
don't know.
concerned about them seeing the trailer, then you explain to
Meanwhile,
them this is
6 years
fake.
later, there's a kid literally beating up 2 robbers. And it's the best
Logan
movie.
asked me, so, Logan's 7, and so he asked me the other day, "Could Home Alone happen today?" And I'm like, "Logan, Home Alone would never
We have
actually
too
happen."
many Google Homes and Nests
Right,
and
but he
Amazon
kept
Alexas.
right, like, we have the Ring, we could talk to the cops, "Hey, yes, he's in there, please," like, we forgot him. But
Oh,
I'm
hey,
like,
I
"There's"
forgot you at home on the flight. Are you okay over there? Let me just go ahead and Venmo you. Let me go ahead and order you pizza. Like,
right, Logan would be like, "Alexa, order
yeah,
Chick-fil-A." I feel like I shouldn't even say that loud.
my kids would be, in fact, they would not even, like, they would be living their best life. They know how to take
Yeah.
care of themselves. So,
He'd find his iPad, he'd be on that, like, because I usually have his iPad hidden, it's
what are
only
you
for, like,
doing? I'm
especially
eating junk and watching rubbish or what? Like,
right, "Somebody better
oh
come and
my.
get me. I'm watching YouTube, somebody better come and
Yeah,
get me."
they're on you. Oh, that's the one
But
thing they'd
he's
be
like,
on is
"Well,"
YouTube.
he told me if that ever did happen to him, that he would take care of those bad guys. And I was like, "Oh,
All
that," I
right,
thought
Logan.
he
I
meant, like,
believe
could he
him.
accidentally get left home alone? No, he wanna know if he could get left home alone and beat up
Listen,
some
mom,
guys.
say you leave me here. Do I have permission?
Hypothetically speaking, am I allowed to commit attempted murder?
So can I? You know what, kid? Live your life, all right? You do it. You do it. Anyways,
He's the
did you know?
age, Macaulay Culkin was 8, and he was 8 the first time
Yeah,
they leave him alone.
Oliver's 9. Yep.
So, maybe next year we need to leave Logan home alone for Christmas.
What if we just leave Logan and Oliver home alone and see what happens?
Oh my god, as long as it's not Harper, because Harper told Brielle she was gonna burn our house down if she didn't get what she
Okay, to be
wanted.
fair, if there's one kid that I thought could be left alone and would absolutely psychopathically kill 2 robbers, it would be my
It would be
daughter.
Harper.
She is a psychopath. That girl is terrifying. I guarantee you we'd come back and there would be dead bodies all over the place.
Just
Cops,
gonna
robbers,
yep.
everybody, man. Like, nobody. Anyways,
She's
Back
gonna
to the
run
film.
the country or run a prison gang. Yeah, she's one of those kids.
The film was actually banned in Ontario and Alberta, Canada in 1987. And my last little fun fact is Siskel and Ebert condemned the film. Siskel went as far to
Apparently.
read.
I don't wanna speak ill of them, but they just I feel like a lot of their reviews are like, "Really? That's what you felt?"
If I was a movie critic, I would be the worst because I'm having fun at like Fast and Furious. 10 out of 10. A real serious movie like Lady in the Water. The frick is this garbage? 0 out of 10.
Didn't one of them get attacked by gremlins in Gremlins 2 for reading Gremlins,
I
though?
think,
So at
yeah, I
least they
think
have a sense of humor.
so actually Siskel went as far to read names of the film's production crew on air, telling them, "Shame on you." Gene Siskel also said that all of the money the filmmakers are making off this film was blood money. Now, if
Could
you
you
want,
argue that they were naughty?
oh my God. Well, listen, this spurred a lot of sequels because we have Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, which features Billy's brother, which they teased at the end,
This is
and then
1987.
we've got Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out, 1989. Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation in 1990. Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker in 91. We've got the
That's a creepy cover.
2012 remake, which the police force of a remote Midwestern town search for the killer Santa Claus who's picking off citizens on Christmas Eve. It's apparently a horror comedy. Yeah, it's set in Wisconsin, so there's that. But yeah, that's what I got. There was supposed to be a reboot, but it's been shelved. Fun fact. That's my last one. I
Oh, it
promise.
has been shelved?
It as of
It was supposed to come
2024,
out
it's been shelved.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to come out next year.
Nope, shelved. All right.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah.
We've got
So
all right. Let's talk
it was
about
a
it.
horror comedy.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be
let's.
Silent Night
Did
2024.
you have a
But
favorite kill?
probably the antlers,
Oh,
which
that was awesome. He like shoves her through the antlers. First of all, like no reason.
and they recreated that in the 2012 one.
Oh, I thought it was the initial hanging with the Christmas lights. I don't know. Something's really awesome about that. But again, like the two people who were babysitting getting freaky and then she gets stabbed on the
You knew
antlers. Like,
she was gonna die. You can't be having
I
sex
know,
in
but like there was
movies.
no reason. Like he just like shows up at their house, kills them and leaves. Like there no introduction to who they were, why they were, none of that. They just dead. Great cannon fodder. That's all they
There
were.
is. She was the babysitter. The babysitter's gotta go when the babysitter has sex.
Well, don't
I
tell
mean,
mom the
that's
babysitter's
just
dead.
Hollywood Halloween 101. I mean, come on, Randy could have told you all that.
That's true. So those are our favorite. The soundtrack was kind of just meh, whatever. But Billy had a glow up. Young Billy had that mullet going, but
Did have
18-year-old
a
Billy
glow up,
was
yeah.
like, maybe they should have put him in football instead. Therapy would have worked, and he's over here like a psychotic breakdown about Santa Claus. I don't know, man. That poor guy. I also thought for a second there, like Billy was going to smash the nun. Smash the nun.
That poor nun, she really was trying, and she really saw, like, what Billy needed, and she saw that the other evil nun was, like, not great, like, she really
She was in
was
a
trying to do
wheelchair.
her
Like
best.
that bitch should have
No,
died.
yeah,
No, I'm
the
saying
evil
like
one.
Mother
Yeah, the other
Superior should
one.
have died.
Or, like,
That
when
bitch
she heard that
killed
they
bastards.
they dressed him up as, Santa, she's like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah.
Like, she
Well,
immediately
she
knew that wasn't good.
literally was trying so hard. She really was. The good nun, if you will, was trying so damn hard. And
Yeah.
they got him a job at a toy store. So what did they expect as far as Santa Claus goes? I don't know what they were expecting.
Well, they didn't know. Oh, yeah, that's true. I see what you're saying, yeah.
And also like the weird dream sequence of the sex scene he's having with that girl. His crush at this toy store was really weird too. And then he wakes up. Oh my God. It's just
Oh,
this
that was
movie.
weird, yeah.
But I don't feel like Billy's necessarily that like he was a bad guy, but to be fair, he had trauma. First of all, he stopped a guy from getting raped or a girl from getting raped. He then killed her,
Only to
but
murder her.
yeah, but then he also stopped a couple of drunk drivers from hitting the road. Okay. His boss was definitely driving home that night, and his boss could not stand on his own 2 feet. So, Billy saved a
Oh,
couple people from drunk driving.
can we talk about how much money this movie would make if they had kept all the toys that were in that toy store in mint condition today? Like, did you see the
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt action playset in the background?
Yeah, you had Star Wars in there, like every
You
big
had
time 80s
Smurfs and,
property. Like, oh my
yeah,
God.
original Mousetrap.
Ah, they
That
would
I
have
kept, like, looking in the background anytime he was there.
I loved the little Easter eggs because you're right. I was looking at like, oh shit, these toys are so cool, and there's millions of dollars or thousands, hundreds of thousands, whatever. Billy should have just collected that and it would have paid for his therapy. But he also
Therapy. There was no therapy in the 80s.
I also thoroughly enjoy that he tossed the dude out the window like it was WWE. He just grabbed him like he was throwing him over the ropes and tossed his ass out the window. And then he gave the little girl the box cutters. Like, do you have something for me? And he just like hands her a box cutter. I was like, whoa, dude, like what is happening?
He's like, "Have you been naughty?" And she's like, "No, I haven't been naughty at
Are you
all."
sure? Yeah.
What about
Like,
this sled with like where he chops the head off the guy going down the sled and then he
oh,
just
that
like
was hilarious because for no reason that ever have to happen.
no,
It just, again,
not at
they
all.
just randomly shove kills in here just for the point of having kills, and it's both fun, hilarious, and just ridiculous. And then yeah, they shoot the deaf guy. Like, you hired a how was your Santa Claus deaf? How was he going to interact with these kids and pretend to know like what they wanted for
Maybe
Christmas?
he read lips.
Oh,
I
but
don't know.
come on, be for real.
I didn't even think of that. That is a good point.
Come
I mean,
on.
most Santa Clauses do know some sign language, which I think is really cool.
I know, but this
But yeah, they need
deaf
to. Yeah,
this
no, no,
deaf
no.
ass
That one did not
Santa.
grow me. I just thought it was so funny. It's like, well, they did. He didn't. They probably like thought of it later. Like, well, how can we explain why he didn't stop? Let's make him deaf.
I know he was deaf.
Maybe he was going to turn his hearing aid on when he was talking to orphans.
What? Like,
I don't freaking know.
huh? I don't know, man. It's what other thoughts do you got about this movie before we go ahead and kind of wrap it up, if you will?
I love that they're playing it like he's doing so well and like he's having milk for lunch while the other
Oh
guy's
my god,
having
that's like,
whiskey.
yeah, okay. That was in my notes actually. The guy's like pounding the one that he ends up killing is over here pounding whiskey and
And he's like, I'm just going
he's
to drink
opening
the
a
milk.
carton of milk.
Like, how gross is that? Because it didn't look like he pulled that out of a cooler. It looked like he pulled it out of a lunchbox. So this is going to be like lukewarm milk.
Ew. How else do you think he's so muscular?
Oh my God. All
Just
those
kidding.
milk
Like, because all the
ads.
milk,
Milk
yeah,
does
that
the
makes
body
you.
good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. That's why we all are lactose intolerant at this age.
Well, milk is
Oh
made for
my
baby
god.
cows.
Yeah, it is. All right. What would you give this movie like out of
3
5?
out of
Because
10
I'm gonna have to
out of
update.
5.
So that's three out of five? Or
I'll do no, not 3 out of 5. It was 3 out of 10,
a 3 out of
which
10.
I
Okay,
guess
so what
makes it
is
a one
that?
and a half out of 5.
To be honest, that's kind of fair. I would have to agree. This movie's like a 1.5 star. I can't give it a 2. I'll be honest with you. I don't have it in me to give it a 2. I
No,
very
it's
much think this
bad.
movie is I don't understand the cult following that this movie has, but then again, I also love
Could be
Jingle All the Way and
humor.
Fast and Furious. So
So
I guess I
I
can't
feel
talk.
like I feel like there's potential for there to be a good story in this. If what happened to him is totally
Sure.
plausible to happen, and that would
Yeah,
seriously
yeah.
create some definite trauma. But I think you can make a really good story with this. But for one, you need an actor who can act, and you can't just have them in a
Yes.
split second just change. They need character development. And like
There
you
was
see the
none.
nun beating him there, there was a little, but there was none as an adult. It seemed like he had finally beaten all his demons. No, he had repressed
Yeah.
his memories, and that brought them all up.
That's the first time he's seen Santa Claus in 10 years or whatever. Like, come on, be real.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
that maybe they still brought him every year to the orphanage, but they didn't make him. But it did make sense so that the little brother was fine because he didn't remember anything. But
Well,
then
yeah, he was
he
a baby
immediately was
chilling in
like,
the front seat.
naughty. Yeah,
But
right.
who saved it? I
Crying.
gotta know, like, it's something I definitely need answered is did he just hang out in the cold until that Santa Claus left with the
Right.
crying
And
baby in the
why did
seat? Like,
he exactly? He just ignored whatever, I guess.
I have
So maybe
questions
I don't
about
know.
how they got found because there was no cell phones.
And
And
whatever happened to that Santa?
whatever happened to the guy who just murdered for $31? And yeah, what the hell?
Yes. Yeah. Where did he go?
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Maybe
I
we
would
need
love
to
to get
watch
some
all the sequels.
backstory.
Maybe all these questions are answered in the sequels, and we'll never know because we probably won't watch it. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll do an episode or the next movie next year.
I would really I would like them to reboot this just so we can get some answers and some closure or something
Honestly, I'm
like
a little upset that you said that they canned it. I was ready to.
I was ready to watch. I kind of want to watch the sequels just to see Billy's brother become the murderer and what his motivations is. So maybe that's next year so we can trash
Christmas
that a bit.
movies are allowed until the Epiphany.
That's true. But that is our overall discussion on Silent Night, Deadly Night. If you think we missed anything, if you want to add input, hey, drop us a line in our DMs. Go ahead, hit us up on the email. We will be back next week where we are actually going to be talking about our best of 2024. So we're going to be talking like our movies and TV shows, comics,
And
things like
comic
that. We're going to be
books.
doing some best of 2024 as we move on to the year 2025 and whatever that
Jeez.
might hold. And
God
yeah,
help
man,
us all.
about a month from now, we are going to be at MegaCon Orlando. Really excited to be going back down to Orlando, kid free this time. Ooh. And Carrie and I will both be there. It's exciting times. But shout out to our Patreons real quick: Riley, Corey, Aunt Lynn, Tabby, Scott, Patrick, Stacy, Jess, Tracy, and Micah. Every month we do a Patreon movie night with our patrons. You know, we send you a nice little like welcome package. You know, when you sign up and support the show, everything goes back into the show for stickers, merch, things like that. These wonderful pint glasses that we get made. And yeah, dude. So every month we do a fun Patreon get together. We just did Die Hard with our patrons. We did a Secret Santa. And so if you want to help support the
Yay.
show, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews. If not, you can support the show by sharing this, by telling a
By
friend, by
liking,
dropping
by
a review, by
following. Yeah.
liking it, follow all that kind of stuff. I love to interact with you guys. Lauren loves to interact with you guys. And we will see you guys next week with our best of 2024. Thank you guys for hanging
You
out.
next year. Shit, man. See you in
We won't see you
2025.
next year because next week's episode, the new year is on a
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's
Wednesday.
just after Christmas. Gotcha.
You got a little
My
ahead
bad.
of yourself, all right? We got one last
I did.
episode of the year.
This month just went
Scared
too
me.
fast. Yeah, I did. I
Right.
scared myself.
Jesus.
Ooh.
All right. Well, while Lauren is had 12 ounces of beer and she's off the sauce, we won't see you next year quite yet
On
because we
my
have one more
second.
to go. Peace.